Life within, the limits of fate, and the power of intention. Our childhood beliefs were drawn within the narrow boundaries of simply being a good person. There was no philosophical awareness, no urge to question. Whatever your family believed was considered the truth. Everything else felt foreign to you. Back then, I was just a child, busy with eating, playing, and enjoying life, living inside the inherited beliefs that were quietly placed on us. But those years of scarcity taught something unexpected. They taught resistance, old clothes, technology we could never reach. The world around us showed very clearly that many things were beyond our control. We felt anger. We felt jealousy. But today, I understand something different. At that very moment, without realizing it, we were all a little stoic. Stoicism was not in philosophy books. It lived inside the spirit of that child who searched for answers in encyclopedias bought with newspaper coupons. The poverty outside, the injustice, the impossibilities, all those things were beyond our control. They left us feeling powerless. Yet inside us, there was something alive. Curiosity, a desire to learn. Those were the only virtues we truly controlled, and they quietly guided our path. Despite every collapse, those feelings were the only strength that kept us standing. Every hardship we faced was actually a lesson, a touch from life itself. But then, the emptiness began. As I grew older, that inner voice became stronger. And I started searching for that emptiness in the outside world, in love, in friendships, in journeys. It felt as if my soul was trying to call back something lost in the universe. But every drop of water I found only quenched my thirst for a moment. Then it pushed me into deeper disappointment. At that time, I didn't understand it. But those moments of exhaustion, those moments of despair were actually powerful vibrations spreading unconsciously. Without clearly deciding what I was searching for, I was sending out a confused, scattered energy. And life responded with the same confusion, with small fragments that never satisfied me. People said I was crazy. I ignored them. Because that passionate emptiness inside me forced me again and again to stand up, even before I had learned to purify my intention. Then the breaking point arrived. A book handed to me by a woman, and the sentence inside it: God gives you exactly what you ask from Him, not more, not less. Years of chaotic questioning. All my cries about the disorder of the world that I could not control suddenly fell silent with that sentence of surrender. It was the deepest form of Stoic acceptance. Let go of what you cannot control, entrust it to something greater, and focus only on your inner peace. I took a breath, and I started to read. During that calm period when I began reorganizing my life, I moved into a comfortable office job. But external comfort did not end the inner emptiness. And at that exact moment, the second book given to me by my boss became my passage from Stoicism to the law of attraction. The second sentence was exactly the same, but the source had changed. The universe gives you exactly what you ask from it, not more, not less. That froze me. I realized something. Simply surrendering was not enough. Yes, I had to let go of what I could not control. But now I needed to focus on what I could control. The clarity of my intention. Life seemed to be telling me, stop shouting, but be very clear about what you want. Because this universe, like a magnet, responds to your deepest and most sincere intentions. Good or bad, right or wrong, it does not matter. Whatever you truly ask for, the universe gives it back to you. And in that moment, that child who had unknowingly developed a Stoic acceptance within hardship finally transformed into an adult who had purified his intention and begun to attract his own life, the two sides of the magnet. Stoic intention. After those two powerful sentences froze me in place, I received the greatest lesson of my life. The limits of fate and the power of intention were not enemies. They were complements. The first sentence gave me peace. It calmed the chaos that had lasted for years. I stopped suffering for things I could not control. That was a true Stoic victory. Poverty, injustice, what other people thought of me. All of these were events outside of me, and I would no longer waste my energy on them. It felt like finding a safe harbor in the middle of a violent sea, but staying in the harbor was not enough. While the comfort of my new job slowly pushed me into complacency, the old emptiness inside me quietly began knocking on the door again. And that was when the second sentence struck me. The universe gives you exactly what you ask from it. This sentence told me I could not remain passive. Calmness was good, but using the power of intention was my responsibility. Now I had to combine everything I had learned. This became a new way of living that I call Stoic intention. First, Stoic cleansing. Before working with the law of attraction, I cleared my mind and my soul from the old burdens. Everything I could not control, past mistakes, other people's behavior, even tomorrow's weather, I set all of it aside. Like a Stoic, I controlled only my thoughts and my actions in that moment. This meant removing all negative vibrations that could corrupt my intention. If my mind still carried the belief, I am helpless, then the universe would only bring me more helplessness. So first, I strengthened my inner peace. Then, law of attraction. Focus. After my mind became clear, I defined very clearly what I wanted to fill that great emptiness. This time, I did not ask for temporary external things like romance or travel. Instead, I asked for inner virtues and meaning, peace, wisdom, the opportunity to do meaningful work, loving relationships. I tried to feel as if I already had them. I know it may sound strange, but this was not just imagination. It was tuning my inner state to that frequency. The balance between action and acceptance. The law of attraction does not bring what you want directly to your door. It shows you opportunities. Stoicism, however, gives you the courage to take the right action when that opportunity appears. When a job opportunity I desired came to me, I acted without hesitation. Did the result always turn out the way I wanted? No. And that is where I returned once again to Stoic acceptance. This was not under my control. I did what I could. The rest belongs to fate. I accepted the outcome. Then I clarified my intention again. Instead of being upset, I chose to learn from it. Since that day, I have lived with these two principles together. When I wake up in the morning, I release everything I cannot control during the day. Traffic, criticism, the final results of my work. I focus only on working with good intention, honesty, and discipline. This Stoic foundation keeps my intentions clear and strong. Then, throughout the day, I send a clear energy to the universe about what I wish to experience in the present and in the future. That emptiness is gone now, because that emptiness was created by not knowing what I could control, what I could not control, and what I truly wanted. Now I understand something very clearly. Without inner peace, Stoicism, external intentions, the law of attraction bring nothing but chaos. But when they come together, life truly begins to work like a magnet. And for the first time in my life, I feel completely free. The daily work of the magnet, attracting life. Consciously. Living this new philosophy, what I call Stoic intention, is actually easier than we think. Because every day our lives are full of moments that test these two principles. For example, in my old helpless state, if I got stuck in traffic, I would become furious. I would honk the horn, complain about other drivers. And when I arrived at work, I would feel like my entire day was ruined. That was nothing more than shouting to the universe, I want chaos. I want stress. Now the situation is completely different. If traffic becomes heavy, I say to myself, this is not under my control. Stoic acceptance. There is nothing I can do except hold the steering wheel. The moment I accept this reality, the anger disappears. And when calmness appears, I turn that moment into an intention. Law of attraction. All right, this moment reminds me not to rush. So when I start my work today, I intend to be focused, calm, and productive. Then, something interesting happens. A beautiful song plays on the radio, or a solution suddenly comes to mind. And I arrive at work not with tension, but with a mind focused on solutions. The same applies to relationships. In the past, if a friend said something that hurt me, I would replay those words in my mind for days. I would accumulate anger and send negative energy into the relationship. In other words, I kept attracting that same hurt again and again. Now I do something different. What my friend says is under their control. What is under my control is my reaction. Stoicism. I tell myself, that sentence does not define my value. It only reflects their emotional state at that moment. That acceptance releases the hurt immediately. And then I set a new intention. I intend to build this relationship on love, understanding, and honesty. And suddenly, in our next interaction, that tension disappears. What about the feeling of emptiness? When it knocks on the door, I no longer search for the answer outside. First I stop, and I question the feeling. Stoic self-examination. Why am I restless? Am I trying to control something that is not mine to control? The answer is usually yes. Then I place my hand on my heart and speak clearly to that emptiness. I intend to attract inner peace and the strength to rely on myself. And before I realize it, my hand reaches for a book, or I find myself focusing on meaningful work. I am speaking to you now. Today, I am 45 years old, and I now understand something clearly. All those years of confusing searching were actually a journey to learn how to use the magnet within me. That is why I am speaking to you who are reading these lines. Let us move beyond those chained beliefs and become the architects of our own lives. First, become stoic. Stop complaining. Accept everything you cannot control. The past, other people's judgments, global events. Treat them as the decisions of fate. Save your energy only for your thoughts, your intentions, and your actions. That is the first step that cleans the mind. Then, learn to intend, the law of attraction. Once your mind becomes clear, what you attract is up to you. Imagine clearly what you want. Spread the vibrations of peace, abundance, and understanding. Remember, the universe does not accept emptiness. Be clear about what you want to fill that space with. Feel that energy. When these two forces walk together, the small drops of water life offers you begin to turn into an ocean. Because you are no longer just waiting. You are also creating. So I ask you one question. Are you ready? Today, would you like to release one worry that you cannot control and replace it with a clear intention? Something simple, like, I intend to be focused and positive in my work today. This could be the first step in activating the magnet within you.